quite positive that we've convinced the industry at large of the importance of hiring individuals that can provide both the culinary expertise and scientific know-how, who are able to assist in the upgrading of their food offerings, reduce costs, improving perhaps nutritional qualities, improving their hit rates, gaining the awareness in the industry that we have an important part to play is very significant.
I would usually get met with blank faces from people when I would talk about it. Why would there be something like that? Chefs in R&D. We had enough sort of interest and groundswell that we could tell there's really something here. Simplify it instead of chefs in R&D to just be research chef, creativity and new ideas, but without technical skills, they don't have a really good breeding ground. You've got to understand cooking fundamentals. That's what makes us so different.
I found a missing piece in what I was passionate about. Took my career into, I think, a different direction than what I had envisioned. Flavors and trends and things like that are opened up, and techniques from a culinary side of the perspective. And it also opens the language up with the culinary team, right, that is driving some of that.
Well, I think the best experience I have really relates to the New Orleans conference in, I think it was 2000. I did a lot of cooking competitions and I was fairly successful. Also ran sort of things for Maple Leaf Farms, and they were an exhibitor. I ended up talking to the marketing manager for, a couple of hours. And I said, well, I'm kind of done with, doing these recipes. And she said, well, why don't you think about next year? And I said, well, I was thinking about this one idea, and I sort of talked about it. And she says, oh my goodness, that's a great idea. Why don't you do it? Make the story shorter, I won the grand prize with my idea that I thought was a good idea. I guess my bottom line was go to the conference because networking is a good idea. So for me, it was a really great idea.
3 words. I would have to say innovative, fun-loving, and fellowship. Everyone I ever attended, there was always a fun event going on, whether it was a food tour, whether it was hanging out in the hotel lobby. And I think that's what is the main draw for a lot of people, because they get to see, be with their people. I think it's changed it a lot as far as driving sales from a manufacturing perspective, driving the sales, but also highlighting the fact that, chefs are scientists. They have to know the functionality of the products. Otherwise, a chef isn't worth his salt. There's a handful of chefs that are taking leadership positions, and they're very well respected, and their opinion matters. And even in the chains, even the smaller chains have corporate chefs, maybe one or two, because they see the value that they bring. And on the other side of that, there's usually someone from the RCA talking to that person in the smaller chain.
The next piece is constant innovation over the next 30 years. RCA really should be the hub in the wheel where culinary and food science innovation happens at ground zero. I always thought it was important that the consumer should really, have exposure to this group, knowing that behind the scenes, there's a workforce of food developers that have, a degree in culinology.
We are the broader food industry. We are everything that it is, everything that makes it up, from the disposables to the food that goes into your mouth and where it's sourced and how it's sourced, and is it sustainably grown, and is it from this place, or is it that? We are the broader food industry. What's been great is being able to lift and leverage those things that are so impactful in one place where you've worked to another place and sort of spread that.
And I think a lot of the people in the RCA are driven people, whether it's developing a workshop or a seminar for the conference, or it's developing a food product.
What I've always kept in mind is the RCA is a living and breathing thing. Keep the essence of the RCA, but be innovative and don't be afraid to change with the times.
But also just love it for what it is. It really is about bringing people together, and it's really about embracing food scientists, embracing culinary professionals and chefs, and bringing them together